Hey guys, Kigiri is in only a couple days, less than a week, so I figured I would go over his entire event for you guys, just to build up some hype and show you guys what you're in for. Now there is so much stuff to cover, like, I have, I have like 30 images for you to cover. There's so much artwork, there's so many enemies, there's so many stages. There's a lot of stuff to go over. It's going to be really exciting, and I'm insanely hyped for this event. And as you can see on the screen, there's a lot of artwork, and the artwork is really sick. So I'm going to breeze through the artwork, go over some other stuff, and I will have a spoiler warning over like some of the story in case you want to just experience it yourself, but I figured I would go over it for you guys now. So, as you can see, we got some art. This is a different like form of Kigiri, I think, something like that. It reminds me of his skin, which we will get to shortly. And over here we have some more loading screen stuff. Now this is titled as just loading screens, so we get this kind of cool art style and all of these artwork images, which I really like. I really like the art style. I think a lot of the other events we had for Limited Heroes was kind of missing a kind of unique texturing, like this sort of thing. So we got this, we got this image. There's a lot of stuff. If you want to pause it to look a bit more in depth, or if you want to just like use them or anything, take a screenshot, definitely go ahead, because these are really cool. This I use in thumbnails quite a bit when we're talking about Kigiri. This is not going to be the banner. I will show the banner image a little bit later, but here we keep going, and now we have the boss image, which I will go and show the boss shortly, but this is what we will be fighting. So if you have any guesses, feel free to comment them down below before you actually see what the boss is. The boss is really cool, and there's actually a cinematic at the end, which is probably one of the coolest cinematics in the game, and it's not even Kigiri cinematic, it's an event cinematic, but we'll get to that shortly. Here we move on to a little bit of random art stuff that I don't even know what these are going to be used for. I think this is for stuff like the shop. I know that this one is actually for the shop, which I will show obviously soon because we do have some early access images for it, but this is what the shop art is going to look like. We have this, I'm not sure what this is for, but we do have this, which is kind of interesting. And there's just a lot of really cool art. I figured I would just kind of blow past it though, because that is not the meat of the event. That is just some cool textural stuff. Now to get to the actual meat of the event, we have a lot of early access images. They're not really early access in the same way as like the traditional meaning. This is stuff taken from the Asia servers, which have already gotten the event. If you didn't know, let me just break it down pretty quickly. There are 4 different servers, at least that I know of. There is 4XXX, which is Forerunners, so people who are on the Forerunner servers, which you can't really get access to anymore, because they are like the early people. They're the early access. They've always been that, right? Their server has been out for 2 to 3 years. And then we get to Global, which is 5XX. And then that is just like pretty much everyone. It's North America, South America, I'm pretty sure like Russia and everything. And then there's the normal Asia servers, which have the same content as Global, like the exact same content. They're just for people who made their accounts in something like Japan or China or whatever, right? That is 6XXX. But 7XXX, which is what these images are from, are like the other Asia servers where they get stuff early. So that is how we have these images. And as you can see by this is the event screen. This is the event screen. Right down here, I'm pretty sure this is the banner stuff. So you click it, it goes to the banner. Then we have the quests right here. We have some sort of chest thing here. If anyone has any guesses or remembers from the previous events and wants to, tell me what these mean, go ahead. I don't feel like looking into it. I'd rather just show you guys. But as you can see, we got the currency up here. We have I think this is the challenge mode, the story mode, and I don't know what this top one is. We got the shop, which I will show very shortly, and then the event cinematic, which will be at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that one. Now moving on, we do have the boss. I will show the boss very shortly, but this is what it looks like. I do know what the boss looks like, and obviously show it, but this looks really cool. This is what the art I showed you earlier is. And we got the boss stage right down here. And then we have all of the rewards. And something interesting about this one that we have never had in this type of thing, because if you remember, we had one for the Dahlia event with the dragon, where it was a boss fight. And then later on, we had the well, actually before that and after that, we had the Pope boss where you had to break the shield for the Lust event, and now we have this for the Kigiri event. But at the bottom, you can see that it looks like we have 3 different difficulties. We have difficulty 1, 2, and 3. So people who are earlier on have some sort of accessibility. They can still fight it, as you can see. And then later on, I assume we will have different difficulties for people who are able to beat it. And we'll be able to get more rewards and have a bit more fun, because some people just have more developed accounts. So you either make the content equal for everyone, or you add additional difficulties for everyone else. So I'm actually really excited for this. So, you know, stay tuned for that. Now, let's go on to the shop. Like I said, this is the artwork that was on before. Now, I do have a different kind of format for this. I've had the shop for a while, but we're just going to go over what's actually in the game. Here we have a chat bubble. Chat bubble will be with the premium currency, which you get less of. And then we will also be getting an avatar border. If you didn't know, I love cosmetics in these games. Like, I have almost every skin in the game, and I love them so much. I don't know why. It's like a weird obsession. And every event has had a bubble, which is sick. So I'm definitely going to be getting that. Now, Kigiri's artifact, I will put on the screen right now what it does. It's pretty good, as you probably could read it. I will go over a bit more in depth when I get to his awakenings, because I feel like it's good to go over the awakenings. Now, this is going to be a must-have. It's going to be his best in slot for sure. Now, we do also have a Lunacy Visor, Who Cares, and Estrid. Now, if you do not have Estrid, you have to get Estrid. Like, you have to buy her. She's so rare. She's one of the rarest epics in the game. She's really, really strong too. So if you don't have her, you may never pull her. I know people with 9,000 summons who don't have her. Like, it's ridiculous. But that is the shop. Now down there, I will show you guys a bit later. These are not very well organized because I didn't really have the time to individually organize them. Now here is the skin for Kigiri. I do not know how this is going to be accessible. I don't know how this is going to be given out. It is mostly a reskin, so it's not the biggest deal if we don't get it for free or anything, but it is cool. I think it looks sick. I'm definitely excited for getting this if I will be able to. Chances are this will probably be like a W Gold offer, but you know, cool skin, right? I like how they changed up the color scheme in a more negative light, because he is the half demon warrior. He's a Watcher Nightmare. It's cool to have him have a bit more of an evil design. Now, moving on, the artifact, which I said I would go over a bit more in depth, is increases damage by 25%, inflicts 1 mark to targets hit by Sweeping Strike or Ember Strike, which is when you parry with its ultimate. If he gets hit during it, Ember Strike is if you time it better, but otherwise you do Sweeping Strike. So essentially when you do his parry, you're going to hit people and it's going to mark them, and then he does 50% more damage. And the fact that he also, on top of that, just passively, no matter what, does 25% more damage, it makes this the best in slot. I don't think there's any artifact that's even going to be vaguely close to that. Now, his awakenings, I'm just going to skim through if you want to read them a bit more in depth, or if you want to see other people's testing. I do not have a test server, so I'm sure some people have tested him quite a bit. I know Prospector has, if you want to check out his videos. Now, the A1 is when you basic attack, additionally restores 3 rage and 3% HP. That is really solid. It's not a must go for, so if you only have enough for 1 copy, or you don't even know if you have enough for 2 copies, I wouldn't really go for it, because, you know, we got Twyla coming soon, Bubba, Xeris is actually really freaking good, you know, all of that stuff. It's not a must-have, but it is still good, because any rage gen is great. He gets his ult very fast, so the faster the better. Now, his A2 is really solid. More attack is always good. A3 is within 10 seconds after Sweeping Strike, which is that parry thing, like I said. And I think he also does it passively to, like, the furthest away enemy. I may be wrong, but whatever. Each direct damage dealt deals additional damage 1 time, equal to 35% of the direct damage within 10 seconds after Ember Strike is activated, which is the more souped up version. Each direct damage dealt inflicts additional damage 2 times. This is a very strong awakening. they're going to be doing, you know, a decent amount more damage. So this is definitely a great awakening to go for. A4 is penetration plus 8%, and A5 is sweeping strike and ever strike launched during tranquil reflections. I forget what that is. We'll guarantee a swallow counter. I kind of forget what that is. It doesn't matter. The A5 and the A3 are very strong. Well worth going for. And I should probably put a a spoiler warning. But here is the boss. Now the boss is a Tengu, so I figured I would let you guys kind of guess. If you didn't want spoilers to the boss fight, you didn't have to. But this is what the boss is going to be. It's going to be a Tengu. We're going to have a bunch of slashes on the bottom if you want to read it. Essentially, I'm just going to skim over. They do a slash, dealing damage to all heroes in a line. They wield a fire fan, summoning a fiery storm on a designated tile that immobilizes the hero on it for a certain amount of time, so completely gets them out of the field. And then we have leaps high in the air, plunging her, I don't want to pronounce that because I'm going to butcher it, into the ground to summon numerous hellfire blades from below, healing damage to heroes in range. Pretty cool. It's going to be like an AoE around where he hits. Tengu summons the fires of the Infernal, causing all tiles on the battlefield to burn. Heroes standing on the tiles take burning damage. Each use intensifies the flames. So you're going to want to use a cleanser for that, I'm pretty sure. And overall, I like the design. I like that it's not just a dragon again, because we've been getting a lot of just dragon fights. And as much as I love dragons so much, dragons are one of my favorite, like, fantasy creatures and boss fights and everything. I'm kind of glad we get a breath of fresh air with this. Now, moving on to the enemies, here are some of the elite enemies. Elite are like the souped up enemies, so like destroyers, if you remember, in like Void Rift Phase 2, the really like strong ones, those are technically elite enemies. So these are really just like strong enemies. Now we have the Red Horned Demon, which is the class of fat demon guy, and he remains stationary and calls upon the power of the fire god Kagutsuchi, I want to say. Increasing his attack after the invocation, he starts to move. So he pauses, he increases his attack, keeps on moving. He's going to have high HP and do a lot of damage. Next, we got the Thunder Caller, which, as you can see, the design's kind of interesting. He casts a spell to launch a massive lightning sigil. The sigil moves along the Thunder Caller's path, dealing high damage to the first hero it touches before exploding to damage heroes within range. So it's like an AoE burst. Pretty cool heroes. Enemies, sorry. These are going to be enemies that we will encounter through the story. Now, regular enemies, we have the Wheel of Hanya, I want to say. It's just a head on a wheel. I mean, we got the Forsaken Monk, Sin Wraith, so like a stronger crawler, and then the Vengeful Spirit. So, pretty cool enemies. I'm definitely excited. Now, this is what the banner artwork should be when it comes out. I know I'm kind of breezing past quite a bit, but you know, there's a lot of stuff to go through. Okay, it's been almost 13 minutes and I've been breezing through, and there's still a bunch of maps to go over. But this is going to be the banner image for the event. It is going to be a 250 summon, so if you pull 250 shards on his banner, you're guaranteed to get him, which is sick. Definitely helps a lot. Now here's the lore stuff, where, as you can see, travel to Uzumo Island and see if... I'm going to butcher these pronunciations. I'm Canadian, I'm sorry. If Hiroto will lure in Kigiri in order to tackle, spelt wrong, the Black Blade from him, will Valderon acquire the blade and give them power in exchange for it as promised. So, interesting lore stuff. Probably will be expanded. This is not the whole thing, I don't think. Now, as you can see, we got some maps on the side. To go a bit further, we got this map right here, this map right here. You can pause and analyze if you would like. We got all of these maps. Now, this is the last thing I'm pretty sure to cover, apart from the cinematic, which I think is really, really sick. So, I guess I'll do my parting words before I show it and then end off the video. So, I do appreciate all the support. Thank you very much for watching. I'm really excited for this event. That's for damn sure. You know, I've been waiting for this for 3 months since we had it announced or whatever. Or since it was leaked, I should say. Maybe it wasn't 3 months, maybe it was less. But you get what I mean. This has been the biggest deal for a very long time. And now that it's actually coming, it's really, really hype. So, let me know if you guys think it'll be pretty cool or whatever. If you're excited, because I know I sure am. I will be doing viewer summons. The link will be in the description. I may be linked down below if you would like to sign up. I will be pulling a lot for Kigiri. Now, here is the cinematic.